Hello, everyone, and welcome to a bonus segment of the Brothers Take that we just had to record, given that there was a state of play this week, the June state of play. It kind of came out of nowhere, and it took us all by surprise. I'm Chris. I am joined by my brothers Adam.
Hello.
And Eric.
Hello.
And we are back in the room once more to talk more gaming, and of course, we would love to hear from you guys throughout the discussion on everything we bring up, but also anything that we don't bring up that might have caught your eye during State of Play. So if you watch this YouTube, make sure to jump down in the comments, share your thoughts. And if you guys listen to us on audio platforms, you can also touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on State of Play. But just to kick us off, guys, can I just ask, what were your hype levels before going into State of Play?
My hype level was I didn't even watch it until you said, go watch it. That was my hype level.
Right. Do you know what it was? It was like, well, first of all, Eric, what was your hype level before?
Well, no, I just said, like, it was the same as Adam. It was like, yeah, I'll watch it when I get the chance or something. Because we were all kind of on the page of there's a State of Play.
Yeah, right. Like, who cares?
We were all down.
Right?
It was, yeah. So it was like, we'll watch it, and sure, if there's something to mention, sure. I think the original plan was we were mentioning this when we're
like during Summer Game Fest.
So during Summer Game Fest, we might
we might come back to that, like at some point, right?
And then
absolutely.
And then you asked, are any is watching it? I was like, oh no, I'm going to go to bed now.
Yeah, you were saying you're going to bed, right? And do you know what it was in my head? I was going, no, they're going to get up in the morning and they're going to see the fucking thumbnails every.
That happened to me though.
That's exactly what happened. And you said.
Happened. It's like, you said, go check out at least the first 5 minutes, and that is literally the thumbnail.
That's the first thing.
For the State of Play?
No, for other people's streams.
Yeah, see, what it was that it was like, State of Play was still live. So I was like, well, there's no point clicking on live because that's going to be halfway through it. So I'm not going to get to see the first 5 minutes. Right underneath that was the main thing. So I was like, well, it's spoil on me, but cool. I'm going to watch it.
Right. Yeah. Because I was like, oh man, you got to see this. So I suppose for me, again, no expectations going in, and they put out on the PlayStation blog that it was going to be mainly third-party games and PSVR2 games. I was like, okay, cool. So a bit of focus on PSVR2, but that's all they said, and nothing to be like, oh guys, you better be ready for this. Like, get your hype levels up or anything. It like sounded so. I was expecting a couple of indie games. I was expecting actually Stray, which showed up the game with the cat. But I wasn't expecting an awful lot. And from the VR side, I suppose I was expecting the Horizon game. But I had nothing else to do. I had nothing to watch. There was nothing on my radar at the time, and I was like, fuck it, I'll try and State of Play before I go to bed. And what an opening. And then actually I scared the shit out of the dog. Because I saw the ore come up towards the screen.
Yeah.
And I was like, or remake, probably remake. And I heard like the acoustic noodling in the guitar, and I was like, oh, it's the Last of Us remake. Okay. We heard that that's probably happening. And then I went Resident Evil, and I went, oh, it's the Village DLC that they're supposed to be working on. Right, okay. And then 4 hit the screen, and I went, no, what? I got up on the couch, the dog leapt, shat herself. Ash actually said that she wishes she was recording my reaction. And I was like, I wish I was recording my reaction. I was expecting nothing from this.
I've seen a great meme, which is like this person holding up their baby in a pool, and it's Resident Evil 4. And then next to them is another kid drowning, and it's Ori Village, the DLC.
Oh, no. But what did you guys think of the Resident Evil 4 reveal?
Start with negative and then go on to positives.
Sure.
I don't like that it straight away starts with saying Resident Evil 4.
Oh, okay.
Now I know the minute you see Leon in a jacket, you're like, it's right.
Right.
But it's always that nice thing where we're like, oh my god, and then the name comes up as like the confirmation. It's like that moment where it's like, oh, Leon looks just like that in Resident Evil 4, and then when they say the title, you lose your shit.
Yeah.
That was my kind of negative with it. Was I wish they just left the title. They did a Christopher Nolan on it and just left the title at the end.
Right.
My positive for it is everything else.
I thought something looked a little bit off about it.
Yeah.
I thought Leon looked a bit chunky. But I also get that this was more like, I mean, there's still a good bit to go before this comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was really just they're showing early footage.
Yeah.
And just confirming that this is coming. That's what I think it was. Because I think it's going to look, when you look at like the Ori engine and stuff in general, like the games have looked phenomenal. So I don't think they're going to put out, especially with Resident Evil 4, I don't think they're going to put out one that's not up to scratch.
Yeah. That was like early stuff, to showing you kind of the color palette and the kind of environments and how kind of true they're staying to some of the designs.
Oh man, I freaked out when I saw the silhouette of Sadler. I was like, that's so cool. Oh man, I actually like the way I know what you're saying, Eric, about maybe it should have been the other way around, but because I had that reaction of, oh, it's something else, and then it was Resident Evil, I was like, oh, it's Resident Evil DLC, and then just the number 4, it was a big like get excited.
I like,
and as well, actually, just before that, they just had a date.
Yeah.
That was the first they showed, and I was like, well, this has to be something, because who starts with a date?
I like it too, because normally when you see games being revealed and they give you just a title, normally that's it. It's just like, it's an announcement. Thought that was but it just kept kind of going, which was good.
Yeah.
But it'll take me a while to get used to new voice actors, I think.
Yes.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Like, there's gonna be weird. And I still think it's strange that they, I get why they're doing it. I think it's strange that they're not doing Code Veronica.
I don't.
No, like they were always going to do 4, and any time they were going to launch 4 in the future is a slam dunk. Now they probably won't do Code Veronica at all. So because they've skipped it, and why go back to it? But I just thought that they might have continued, like in the Ori remake series, that they might have continued Claire's journey, as well as, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you get to Ori 4, like you could release that next year, in 10 years, in 20 years. It doesn't matter when you do that. It's a slam dunk. But Code Veronica is a different one. You know what I mean? Do you go back to it? Probably not. So
are they going to like do like a remake for them 5 as well and 6?
And make them good? That could be great. But then I thought the next thing was the Ori Village DLC. But it wasn't. It was Ori Village is coming to the VR2. And I was like, saying, no way, I'm not entering that dollhouse. Fuck no.
Yeah. Oh God.
That's the first thing I thought of. So, I see everyone else is like, yeah, Lady D and all. I'm like, no.
For me though, like as I watched it maybe 2 hours ago. I watched the full thing then because I knew the whole thing would be there to watch. So for me, watching it, still what was going through, because it was only showing Castle Demetresque and it was showing the daughters and it was showing Lady Demetresque and everything. Still, what was going through my head was that meme that Adam sent into the group chat. So that's what was going through my head.
People being really happy that it's in VR.
Really, really happy. Yeah.
I think what's interesting is how much they highlighted of her, and they didn't really show anything else. Not that there's nothing else there, but it's clear that she's the selling point now of this game. And I'd say they're raging that they didn't utilize that character more, because it's actually not in it long.
No, not really.
I would say what's his face is in it much more.
I'd say she's in it a lot longer if you're playing it in VR, though.
Probably, yeah. You're soaking up every bit of detail.
I'd say that scene. I say that section would
slower.
Just,
I'd say
that section for people would just get harder and harder.
Do you think it's a separate game or an update?
I'd say it's a separate
game.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would say so. It makes total sense though, and I remember like when the first one, not the first one, but when Village came out, everyone was wondering like, why isn't this one in VR? Because 7 in VR was like, people loved it, and it was a big thing, especially for streamers and everything. So it makes sense that at some point, and maybe they were holding off till the VR2 was ready anyway. Like maybe this was always on the cards, but they're like, we don't want to release it for last gen VR. We want to release it for next gen VR.
Yeah.
Was I mistaken that when I was watching that, was Ethan dual wielding?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And throwing things all over the place and
yeah.
Go werewolf hunting, man.
The crazy stuff, and the fact that they used that music descent.
I think
the whole thing was like, that's awesome.
Actually, let's just go back. Sorry, let's rewind back to Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, sure.
Just in terms of it being a remake, I just want to know, like, what bit of the game are you most looking forward to seeing done now in the Ori engine?
The village, going into the village,
the opening.
The opening, yeah.
From
probably.
the opening to the credits, that I think that would be really exciting to see.
No, I think like the opening, the set the tone. I'm quite interested with the Ori engine, just with how fucking scary Ori 2 was. Quite interested to see what Dr. Salvador is going to be like. I think that's going to be fucking terrifying. It's going to be harder to play this one probably. And then I also am interested in the way in which they can modernize some of the aspects or some of the characters. Like, I'd be interested to see what's Ashley Graham like in a 2023 version of Resident Evil 4.
And will Leon say, "I'll never follow a woman"?
Like, yeah, would Leon say that?
Does he say that in the first note?
That's not a quote of his I latch onto, I must say. Like, will everyone still go to bingo? You know, yeah. Like, will the cheesiness still be there? Or, because Ori 2 wasn't cheesy at all.
No, and from the bit of dialogue we do hear for this teaser trailer, it sounds like he's still haunted by it. So it sounds like he's not the badass character.
They might go for a more traumatized, damaged Leon as opposed to a badass action hero.
Like, at least after this, there's one less to worry about.
Yeah. So in that sense, it might not
that
be
better be in it. That better be in it.
But it might not be as fun as the original, if you get me. Like, in terms of that tone.
What are you talking about? Those games are such good fun.
No,
they're not scary at all.
I'm talking about the tone, and not talking about the gameplay. Like, the gameplay, I'd say the loop of the gameplay, if it has the Ori 2 gameplay, will probably be a whole bunch of fun. But the tonality of the storytelling might not be as fun as Ori 4 was.
I think the first thing that came to me as something that I can't wait to see is, you know, when you're past the village, you've gone down towards the lake. It's on your way back, I think, if I remember correctly. And it's when the wolves, you first see them, and it's like, it's dark and it's lightning. And I always remember that on the GameCube, that always looked really, really well. But once it was ported over to other consoles, it just lost the whole... Because on the GameCube, it was so dark, like you could see them, but you really had to rely on the lightning to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see how they modernize that. Like, do they rely on the darkness side of it, or, you know, how does that look? That's the bit that really jumped to me.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see more of it, I guess, in general. And just to be honest, even if they didn't show the footage, the title drop would have been enough to excite me and go, "Hey, this is a great state of play. I love it." But also happy to see the footage.
Hopefully, the original Resident Evil 4, the VR version, hopefully that comes to VR2 as well.
Ooh, yeah, and it sounds like this one's coming to VR2, didn't it? Like they said. Was also in development for PSVR2.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then scrap that. Then if that's
So
that's all you need,
that could
really.
be great.
With the are you going to, like? There's a lot of VR stuff that was announced.
There was.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think after seeing the stuff that they showed, I think I would pick up a VR2.
I don't know if I would tell you the truth. I really like. I think the VR is amazing. I can't see myself getting it out all that much though. Even if
you wouldn't really. It's more of a. I see it kind of like the light gun of the PS2 and PS1 eras. It's like
yeah.
Or even if you got the joystick for fighting games and stuff like that. You know, it's not something that you want to play all the time.
I'll tell you one thing, actually. If they bring out like another Time Crisis on it, I'd probably get it then.
That would be good. Well, I was just about to say, I was just going to ask then if you were getting it, what part of Resident Evil Village VR would you love to experience in it? Or would you like that at all?
None of it. Are you kidding me? That was scary enough. No, there's a part of me that I think would love to experience... No, I wouldn't. That's a lie. I wouldn't. I was about to say a part of me would love to experience the dollhouse, but that's an absolute lie. No, I would not. That was the fucking scariest thing ever.
Yeah, probably the the descent into the village. When you're playing as Chris, you go and you're kicking everyone.
Actually,
yes.
yeah.
That would be amazing.
That would be the closest thing to like almost like a time crisis-y kind of.
Yeah. Actually, that would be fucking
that
sick.
would be amazing in VR.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. What did you think actually of, like, there was No Man's Sky VR, but there was also the Horizon Call of the Mountain VR. What do you guys make of that?
Actually, I think that looks really impressive.
It does.
For VR. Looks good.
You see, you have to be a little bit careful there, because the first PSVR or any VR headset, when they demonstrate what the games will look like, it never looks how they showcase. Right, that is best case scenario. So expect it to not look that good. But of course, we haven't got our hands on the unit, so we don't actually know. But I'm a little bit like, okay, I feel like it's not going to look that good. I'm hoping that it's hard to tell what the game is going to be like based on what they showed, but I'm hoping it's more like a Skyrim VR style of thing, where it's in Skyrim VR, it's the full game. It's like it's open world nearly. You know, it's fully open world. You're walking around in VR. I think that in Horizon would just be incredible. Like, to be able to just walk around in that world would be absolutely
amazing.
Incredible. Yeah, but it looks fairly on rails to me.
Yeah, and I'd say it probably is.
Yeah.
But I'd say some of it is probably really impressive. One thing it got me thinking about, though, was like while it was on like the boat going down the river, I was like, oh man, give me a King Kong in VR. Fuck yeah.
It just it kind of feels a bit.
That be, man?
It feels a little Disney, Walt Disney ride to me, and I don't know if I would spend the money on something like that. I would.
Well, part of the appeal for the VR thing is that kind of theme park attraction kind of thing, where it's like, would you like to experience being in this world? Would you like to experience being in?
I think when it first came out,
yeah,
but I just think that there's so many ways. Like,
need to be going further than that now.
Yeah, because I mean, you can get VR on your phone, right? You can actually get little accessories and turn your phone into a VR experience. And I think enough people have actually kind of experienced VR to the extent that on rails experience was fine when it first came out, but now it's like, okay, we're familiar with the technology. We want experiences dedicated to this, and I just feel like the games like the Skyrim VR or even Resident Evil 7, right? They're quite complicated games in terms of the amount of buttons you need to press, but as gamers you kind of get used to it, and those are better experiences because I feel like you kind of want to have a world that you can explore.
Yeah,
take your time in. You're probably going to take your time more in VR than you would otherwise.
Yeah, probably. That's why.
It's because you just stop and look.
That's why Ori Village in VR is going to be so much longer.
Yeah.
Not only are you taking your time, but you don't want to go through that door,
Yeah. And the 3D audio always works so much better in VR as well.
Even just going through the woods at the beginning, then fucking hell, like that was scary without headphones.
or the bit when you first get attacked by the lichens.
Absolutely. That whole sequence
so intense.
Fucking amazing.
First time, Jesus.
As opposed to going through absolutely every single announcement or reveal throughout State of Play, because some things resonate more than others. I suppose I'd just like to ask, what other game was saved the last game to last, because I think it's worth talking about anyway, because it's it's a big franchise, right? But what other games in there stood out to you guys, or at least caught your attention?
Well, I think Stray. Not that the cat looks amazing,
right?
But things like
the world was interesting.
Yeah, to see things like cats and dogs and stuff, they tend to be quite hard for people to animate, like just because of all the different hairs and stuff like that, and the different muscular movements. But the lighting and the world looked really interesting. The gameplay looks fun. You're a cat and you can go wherever you want.
Yeah,
that looks so fun.
I would hope that game, if it was something worth trying out, which I think, like, if it was a PS Plus game and had it, like, why not?
It is.
But well, it's coming to those premium, so I don't know what premium you'd have to be or what tier you'd have to be in. But I think if it's too long, it could overstay its welcome. I think it should be quite a short, fun, concise experience.
Kind of like those Little Nightmares or Limbo or something. Or
yeah. To that vein, yeah. Adam, anything catch your eye?
I'm not seeing the appeal of Stray. I see a lot of people are really looking forward to it.
Right.
I'm not quite getting it yet. Maybe it's just because you get to play as a cat, but
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cat lovers. I think would just be like, oh, "This is great." You know what I mean? Like, how many times do dogs get all the credit? You know, that's
or goose.
Finally, the cat is getting its day. You know.
But the game that really stood out to me was the Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
I've
been excited about that one since that CG trailer initially, and I was really surprised to see it pop up here. To be honest,
still a long way away, but oh no, is it this year?
No, it's coming this year.
This year.
Which I didn't expect. I thought that was going to come next year. I was like,
allegedly this year.
Yes,
allegedly.
No, that'll come. That'll come this year. Don't worry, guys. Okay. Don't worry, guys. It's got the seal of approval here.
That looks really good.
Well, it is to
Dead Space.
It is to Dead Space what The Evil Within was to Resident Evil. You know what I mean? It's that spiritual successor or spiritual sequel in a way from the same creators. It's like there's no point in even saying like it's kind of like Dead Space. It's like it's Dead Space.
100% Dead Space.
But I'm okay with that because I would like more Dead Space.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's fine. That's not a bad thing. That's not a criticism. I mean, it could be for some people. But...
Well, yeah, the lighting and the graphics for that looks really good.
Yeah,
that looks like a solid game.
Looks like a different kind of scary to what we were talking about earlier on. You know, like it looks quite intense.
But it's Dead Space. It's a Dead Space scary. It's like you don't want to enter another encounter.
Yeah, and I quite like the idea of the barcode being the health bar. I think that's
was
really
it a barcode
cool.
or was it a kind of a almost like it's like a collar nearly, isn't it? No.
Oh, maybe it's a collar. I thought it was supposed to be done like a prisoner barcode on the back.
Oh right, okay.
You thought they scan like this is like prisoner or whatever, but they've done it as a health bar as well. That's what I was like, man, this guy is so clever coming up with health bars that are implemented into the.
There's a game shown outside of State of Play, and I don't know whether it was like this is kind of announced along the same time. I don't know if you've seen it. There's actually a bunch of Warhammer games announced.
Oh right, okay.
Like, there was.
Is it Dead Side or something
actually,
like that?
No, this was Rogue Trader. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, I didn't get to see them all, but there was one that like I was like, oh, I'm all about that. I think it's called Bolt Gun.
Oh, the retro Doom looking one.
It looks like Doom, but you're a Space Marine, and it's kind of slightly retro looking.
Oh,
yeah, no, that's very.
The trailer was good, actually.
I actually haven't watched it, but I'll give it a watch.
Yeah, I must check that out. I also really enjoyed the look of. It's probably not something I'd buy, but again, if it was a PS Plus game, you know, or for example, if it was something that was on Game Pass or something like that, like it's something I'd 100% try. And that was RollerDrome.
I love the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork's cool, but just the idea of like the high speed, like going on roller skates and then rapid shooting stuff.
It reminded me of that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
I've never seen it. I know the one you're talking about though. Well, what's the
one?
Is it Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah. It's like
they're locked in like a prison, right?
They're in a prison. They're playing a game for everyone's entertainment, but they're all dying. It's set in like the future. That's what it looked like to me. It's like you're killing all these people for other people's entertainment. That's what
I think it was, and it looked highly entertaining. I thought
it did look very entertaining.
I really liked the artwork. I don't know if it's the right. Yeah, it's a weird premise, a weird kind of game, I think. But I love the art style. But there was another game there that had really nice art style to it. It looked like it was more of a storytelling game, but the artwork was phenomenal. I can't remember what the name of that was.
Was that Season?
Yes, I'm gonna say yes.
Season
it was a real calm kind of.
Yeah. It looks like
you're one taking the photos. That looks like a good. Like get that on PlayStation Plus and you just have a really nice time in it. Like
Edith Finch or what's that one?
Everyone's got Rapture.
That kind of experience.
Journey.
Something like that. Yeah, it's definitely going to be about the story.
Yeah,
and not necessarily about highly engaging gameplay or anything. For a second, there was the game Eternights that they showed, which was like kind of they said it was like action meets dating sim, but one of the characters, I was looking at him and I was going,
is this Doki Doki too?
Is this Doki Doki? I was like, did the guy get like a mega budget and now he's gone fucking wild with it? And I was like, the twist is going to be Monica shows up as this Super Saiyan fucking villain at the end.
That would
like, holy shit.
That would be the correct direction to go with that sequel.
You have no idea how excited I would be if that's what they announced. If it was just, and then like all that epic shit, and then at the end it's just do 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 do. I'd be like, fuck yeah! Oh man. I think another one that would have excited a lot of people, but it was never really something for me. Like it was Street Fighter 6. Anyone who's big into the Street Fighter series obviously has been looking forward to that.
I really wish it was like, every time they meet contact, there's like that really beautiful splash of color.
Yeah.
I wish all of the game was that, like the kind of hand drawn or hand painted look to it. I just, to me, it's not Street Fighter if it's fucking 3D characters.
I get you.
You wanted to go back to the old kind of
no, just take it forward, right? I wanted to look like that show Arcane.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Right, like a full-on playable cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take it. Let's move it forward.
That
I was never a Street Fighter guy though. I was always more of a Tekken guy.
I always enjoyed Street Fighter, but I preferred Tekken. Yeah.
I love the movie.
Yeah.
I love the movie, and I always enjoyed Street Fighter 2. I think it was played on the Sega. Like that was fun, but I was never.
Our Street was it Capcom versus
Marvel? Well, in the arcade, that was great. Yeah, that was sick.
That was good.
But that was more because I loved Marvel, though. You know what I mean? That was more like I want to see Wolverine chop up Vega. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, it's cool.
Yeah, I know. It's cool. It's fucking cool. Cool about it. And then I suppose the final announcement was an update on Final Fantasy 16. And then in true Square Enix Final Fantasy fashion, an incomprehensible trailer, but but also much hype.
Wait, you didn't understand any of that, man? How did you get that?
They're it's like how I don't know this story. What are you talking about?
No. In fairness,
but it's also
the most confusing was 13. 13 made no sense.
All the 13 marketing was just nonsense. But it's cool that it's very summon heavy again. Like it's very focused on the summons. I thought there was slightly too much going on with the UI at times. Like when we were first shown it, there was way less in the UI and the combat.
All right.
However, it looks epic.
It looks like 15 and 7 just slapped together.
A little bit, but and it's nice to have that medieval.
Yeah, like I was thinking, like 9, bit of 6, that kind of.
I meant in the
gameplay.
In the gameplay, not the aesthetic. The aesthetic is way more 9. I meant the gameplay.
Music was very like 15 at one point. I actually was like, "Is that Apocalypsis?" Like,
well, in fairness, some of the scenes with the summons were amazing.
Oh, they're incredible!
Like the summons are selling that.
It looked to me there was 2 like health bars with 2 summons fighting, right? And I was like, are you going to control the summon and it becomes a fighting game?
Kind of, because that's
what it looked like.
I think it was like Bahamut fired a laser at like Titan, and his like arm came off, and I was like,
blood.
Yeah. I was like, okay. I was super excited when I saw Odin. I was like, oh shit's gonna go down. Odin's back in this.
Yeah, totally. No, it does. It looks great. Like it's to me, it's. I wish the trailer, in terms of what's being said, wasn't put together that way, because it's just like whoa, slow down, set the tone a little bit. Like I don't know any of these people. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like I have no idea who's the main character. It's just not set up the way I think a trailer would be.
Yes.
You know, it's strange. However, I'm loving the visuals and I'm loving what I'm seeing. And I even there was a huge battle sequence. And I was like, oh, that looks great. And then there was like blood in the battle. And I was like, this is like real dark fantasy then. This is cool. But I am disappointed with the release date, I have to say. I thought that was coming this year. I really did.
I just think, it seems
cool, yeah.
It takes time. I remember like when they first started announcing it, and it's like, oh, we're going to talk about Final Fantasy 16. I was like, no one cares. Show us 7 too. Come on.
Really? Come on.
But then the more I saw of it, and it just kept kind of. At first, I was like, I had my I don't give a shit face on, right? Because I'm just here for Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
Sure.
That's all I care about with Square Enix.
Yeah.
And it just kept going and going, and then once it got to the summons and it's like naming all the summons, it felt like fucking a Power Rangers show. I was like, this is actually awesome.
Not only that, the song was naming the summons in the song, and I was like, oh, this is like Mortal Kombat but with Final Fantasy summons.
This is like, because I haven't cared for a Final Fantasy since 10.
Yeah, right.
This actually has me hyped for a new Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, new story, new world.
Yeah, I like the tone of it. It looks great. It kind of has an element of 12 in there as well, with the character designs, just a little bit.
A little bit, and that whole Empire thing as well. Which, I'm hoping there is a nice rounded party in it. I suppose one of the things about 15, like one of 15's strengths and flaws, was how small the cast is. So the strength being that it's a very intimate cast, and by the end of the journey, these guys have bonded really well together. However, if you don't like the party, that's it.
Are you stuck with that?
In 15? Yeah, it's the 4 guys, that's it.
You see, I just think
for the whole game.
There's nothing like, going on a journey and meeting someone new and getting to know them.
Exactly. And that's, I would hope that, especially with this game, with the medieval setting, that classic kind of D&D style adventure of like, you go out on a quest, you meet someone, they've got their own personal demons, you go from town to town, you eventually come to their town where they came from, and they're an outcast for whatever fucking reason. And, like that kind of journey that you got from the likes of 10 or the likes of 7. And 9 as well. 9 has a great cast of characters, actually. I hope that's in there, but it's hard to tell from the trailer who's a party member and who's not. I have no idea. Unless it's just the summons are your party. I don't know.
Yeah, I know nothing of the game, but what I can tell is that the combat looks great, and the animation looks incredible.
Yeah. No, I think they're doing really, really great work with it. And I was surprised to see it at the end here. So I suppose Ori 4 and that surprised me the most, only because I would have thought both those games would have been something that if they were doing a state of play, we would know that's what the state of play was about. Do you get me?
Oh yeah.
Because they've done that with a couple of them. So they from going in expecting nothing, I was just like, oh shit, like they caught me totally off guard and have kind of kicked off the Summer Game Fest in a way with their own showcase. So I was well impressed.
I thought there was 2 kind of confusing announcements for me.
Right.
One was God of War coming to. I don't know if that was part of this. Was it? Was that announced in this? No, it's just in general. God of War coming to PS Plus. It's a PS Plus game.
Yeah, I heard that, and it's really weird because it's part of the PlayStation Plus collection.
Is that next month's PS Plus? Is it like June?
I was like, that's really confusing to me because it's part of the collection, isn't it?
No, it'll be this month. It's
part of the collection, yeah. Like people have that game.
Yeah, that's just a waste of. That's a waste of a entry.
Plus, yeah.
And the other was Spiderman going to PC.
That was on State of Play, yeah.
That was during it. Why is that weird? I with some of these, it was only a matter of time, though, right?
Yeah, I just guess it's a like a why is it? It feels like you're just trying to milk money out of your property here.
100%, that's what it is.
But I just feel like if you're going to commit to the PC space, release them when they're relevant.
At the same time?
Release them when they're relevant. As opposed to selling an old game for more money. I know that for a lot of PC gamers will be happy that they get to play that game, but I just feel it's a little unfortunate that that's how they're being treated.
I get you, yeah.
In comparison to if you look on the Xbox space of things, it comes console and PC fucking same time. And if you have Game Pass, the two of them day one. You know what I mean?
But I suppose the thing is that with Microsoft, because they own Xbox and PC, it doesn't matter which one you play it on anyway, right? Versus with PlayStation, they have to have pros for their PlayStation market first.
Yes.
Because they don't own PC.
Yes.
So it's kind of I suppose it's like between a rock and a hard place in a way where it's like,
but they could strike a deal with Steam.
Yes, they could.
Which they did do in the past, where Portal 2 had PS3 exclusive features. So if you bought the PS3 version of Portal 2, you get the Steam version. Because yes, Microsoft obviously owns Windows, but it's through the Xbox store on the PC is where you get the games. They still have competitors even in the PC space, and the biggest being Steam. If Sony could strike a deal there, and so that you could get it on Steam as well,
yeah, that would be great.
I think that would be really beneficial. It's just that I fear a little bit because it seems as though the sales are doing really, really well for these PC ports of PlayStation games.
Yeah.
I just hope that doesn't get to a point where Sony gets a little bit like, oh, maybe we'll just become a publisher, and that's it.
And at some point, like, because actually I saw a lot of people reacting were, especially with the way it was phrased during State of Play, where it's like, and now a beloved game is coming to PC. And before it was Spiderman, everyone was like, Bloodborne! Because people are crying out for Bloodborne to come to PC. Like, absolutely
that game would make way more sense to me.
Right. But that is going to happen. That is inevitable. And it is going to happen this year.
That Bloodborne goes to PC?
Yeah. And it's probably going to be announced during the Summer Game Fest.
Chris, while you're at it with the predictions of saying games are going to come out this year and Bloodborne's definitely going to come out, can you also predict that we're going to have a really nice summer?
Yes.
And
we will
Metal Gear Solid Remake announcement.
Summer. I'd love a Metal Gear Solid Remake. Are you kidding me?
No, you have to say that there will be.
I can't. I actually can't about that one. I'm not confident about that one. Don't worry. But God of War Ragnarok is coming out this year, so don't worry about that, folks. Was there anything that we missed or anything else you guys want to bring up before we bring the conversation to a close and State of Play?
No, that was.
I
think overall this is the best State of Play since.
Yeah,
that's what I was about to ask. Actually,
for a while, like
whole showcase then after everything.
A lot less talking, a lot less showing, and it was nice, and there was a lot of good announcements there.
There's a nice balance of like like we had a couple of games in there which we just mentioned. They're kind of more meditative experiences. We had a couple of horror style games. You got smaller style games, bigger games, VR games. There's a good mix there. Hopefully going forward, that's what it's going to be.
And a good mix of smaller games and heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Which I feel every showcase needs to have. You need your headliners and you need your support acts.
I just wish that I really hate the delivery of State of Play. I have to say.
Yeah. It's not the nicest
presentation. It always feels like the way the voices kind of says
computerized?
It almost sounds a bit computerized. There's a little animation. There's no humans whatsoever. I feel like I'm watching, in Starship Troopers when they're like, "Would you like to know more?" And they show you the next clip. Like,
oh man,
I just feel like I'm just kind of
blast in the past.
sitting here, just being like fed this, just to kind of stimulate me nearly. There's no human connection here anymore.
Yeah, it's basically been delivered by the menu of Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
But you know what?
That shit fucks you up
over time,
especially if you shot her.
But yeah, really good. Jesus Christ, really good State of Play. Best in a long time.
The last
one that we got.
Weird.
The last one that we got was the Hogwarts Legacy State of Play, which was also a good State of Play.
That was really good.
But in terms of one where it's like we don't know what we're getting, this was the best one in a long time. Yeah. But we'd love to hear from you guys. What did you think of the showcase overall, and what was your personal favorite reveal? Let us know. If you're watching this on YouTube, jump down in the comments, share your thoughts. If you guys have been listening to us on audio platforms, make sure to touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take again to give your take on the June State of Play, which has now kicked off the Summer Game Fest. By the way, if you enjoyed this on YouTube, why not give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell for all future content. I mean, we release episodes weekly, but like this is a bonus segment. It came out of the blue, so make sure you ring that notification bell so that you know when these kind of one-offs or offshoots happen as well. Thank you very much for checking this out, guys. We're back to talk to you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.